Hello my lovelies, I thought I'd share some thoughts about D&Ad and you know, the industry is going in a peculiar direction, and before I go into what that is and what I think of it, let me first say that one thing I've really always believed is that advertising people are our own worst victims. I'm reminded of a story when I started working in advertising in Hong Kong in the late 80s. There was this friend of mine who was a director, and he was talking about what his Chinese accountant used to say to him. And his accountant said, you advertising people, he goes, the things you buy and the places you go and the lifestyle you lead, he goes, these things aren't for you. These are for rich people. And, you know, we all have these super inflated ideas of sort of like, you know, who we are and what we should be doing and where we should be going and what we should be wearing. And I think I've noticed a trend over my lifetime that sort of like, you know, if you wanted to show off in the 80s and early 90s, it was all about things. It was about what you had, right? And then, and I blame social media for this, and then it sort of evolved. It became more about what you do. So you went from material possessions to experiences. And now with the explosion of social media, the way you show off is what you think, which is why everyone is trying to out-woke each other. And we've got this really serious phenomena of virtue signaling, which is something that I saw flagrantly in attendance at D&Ad. And I'll go into what that is specifically. The reason I think it's important is because, you know, the reason why I'm putting this out and the reason why I did my masterclass is I believe in creative leadership. You know, if you want to, you know, my primary clients are directors and producers, and really what people are hiring you for is to lead a project, okay? It's to lead a project creatively, and it's to excel in advertising excellence, and that's what D&Ad is all about. And I think they're going a little off track. Now, I noticed this a year ago when one of the black pencils, because there's four types of pencils. There's the wooden, there's the yellow, there's the gold, and then there's the black. And the black is supposed to be the best of the best of the best. You know, the black is basically supposed to make your brain explode and think, oh my God, that is so amazing. And one of these pencils last year went to, I'm sure you're all familiar with, who was the agency? It was McCann, New York. They did something for, I mean, here's a spurious client, if you've heard one, the Gender Diversity Index. And they did this thing called Fearless Girl. And they made a statue, I'm sure you've seen it, but it made a statue of a girl going in front of the big bad bull on Wall Street, which was going. And, you know, everyone said, oh, isn't that remarkable? You know, such a strong sign for female leadership. Okay, it's a nice stunt, but a black pencil? Also, as a note, here's the thing. The idea, you know, everyone seems to associate that bull with Merrill Lynch, and Merrill Lynch is really happy about that. But that bull was actually a gift from the artist whose name was, let me see if I can remember it. I'd love to do give this guy the proper credit. A guy called Dimodica, okay? And there was a huge recession in 1987, and Wall Street came tumbling down, and the economy did really badly. And so what he did was he made this bull as a gift. It was his gift to Wall Street. He just made it and just left it there. And it was supposed to be a symbol for the resilience, for the strength, for the innovation, and for the ingenuity of the American people and the American economy. And he's saying, look, don't worry about it. We're in a bear market. We're in a bear market now. The bull is going to buoy us all up. And that was great. So, and actually he got very pissed off because he said, you know, this statue is completely misrepresenting and hijacking, you know, the meaning of what my bull is supposed to mean. My bull is supposed to mean a strong, powerful economy, a strong, powerful America. And now you've hijacked it and taken it to mean, you know, the cruel and evil patriarchy, which of course it isn't. So anyway, so there's this big fuss, and that won a pencil last year amongst a bunch of other things, but I won't go into them now. And this year, right, the epidemic is in full surge. I'm talking about 3 specific D&Ad winners. One was Nike's Dream Crazy by Whedon and Kennedy with Colin Kaepernick. And which I'll start with that. I mean, Nike do such great ads. Whedon and Kennedy are such a good agency. You know, over the last year we had the Londoner ad that they did, and Nike India for women was just incredible. But this ad looks like they've just phoned it in, and it's just not a very good ad. I mean, aside from the social issue, which was, you know, the idea that sort of like, you know, kneeling when you've got the national anthem is you're taking a massive stand. You're not risking anything. Okay, if anything, what happened is it got you a whole load of other endorsements, and you did very well out of it. I mean, this was a quarterback whose career was over. Thought, what can I do to sort of like, you know, get myself on the news and get some publicity? So he kneels. He's done nothing for the black community. And here's the thing. It's like when I worked at JWT Indonesia, when we had Japanese clients, everyone in the room had to stand up, right? Because that's what you did. You work for the agency. The boss says when the Japanese clients come in, you stand up. And if you didn't, it probably wouldn't go so well for you. You'd get fired. But that's your job. When you're supposed to stand up, you stand up. It's not a First Amendment issue, dummy. So there was that. And it's just not a very good ad, it's a real shame. Another thing about Whedon and Kennedy, during D&Ad, they were inviting people. I went over to their agency, and they had, outside their agency, they had all these Trump cartoons and caricatures of, you know, from an artist. And let me tell you, it's not art, right? It's not art. It wasn't even very good. If you bought a few beers for the guys in the studio overnight, you would have got much better stuff than that. But again, it's this idea that sort of like, creative excellence is supposed to be now it's somehow about, here it is. Here's what I'm trying to say. Noble cause does not equal noble art. All right, just because you think an idea is wonderful and high-minded, it doesn't mean it's creatively brilliant, and it shouldn't necessarily be rewarded so. Another example is the New York Times campaign by Droga New York. Again, fantastic agency. You know, we used to joke back in the day when we were doing a commercial and we thought it was going to go really great, and it wasn't. We'd say, well, we can always enter it for best use of supers, which is the or typography or something like that. Now, the what's the name of the campaign? The Truth is Worth It campaign by Droga New York. Great for, you know, the craft is amazing. Great photography, and great supers. Fantastic editing. I mean, it's definitely a good ad campaign. Again, most of it is Trump bashing, but let's not go into that thing. But here's the thing, it's like, how is it a black pencil? A black pencil is something that's supposed to make your brain explode. A black pencil is supposed to be a serious leap, right? How is that like The Guardian, Three Little Pigs, or The Guardian, Skinhead, right? It's not like that at all. And I think the third one that I saw was Libres, Viva la Vulva. Now, Viva la Vulva is a great idea, okay? It's a nice idea, but once it's not an incredibly breakthrough idea, because, you know, if you're a creative person, you're sitting around, you're looking at what's happening with Me Too and people wearing pink pussy hats, you've got a brand like Libres, and you can go, okay, what about talking pussies? All right, let's do it. But in actual fact, obviously, if that's what you're going to do, talking pussies, then it's obvious that you've got to do that with beauty, with style, with elegance and restraint, all right? So what you do is you just hire a bunch of very talented designers to come up with something that is beautiful, elegant and restrained. And that's what they did. So again, not necessarily worthy of a black pencil, but a nice ad nonetheless. And as I said, what I'm seeing is it seems that these awards are less about the brilliance of the idea or the incredible innovation in the craft, and more that they're just judged worthy. And I don't think that that's what D&Ad should be doing. I don't think that's what advertising awards should be doing. You know, if you go back through the previous Black Pencil winners, look at Cadbury's Gorilla, okay, or or some of the, you know, some of the other campaigns and ideas that were truly breakthrough, and these weren't. So if you've got, I'd love to hear what you think. So please drop a note, send me a message, or leave a comment below, and I'll see you soon.